Hello, everyone. Here's your weather hazard briefing for the last Monday in September. Mostly dry, but breezy through most of this week. We do have a few showers possible, mainly up around Stanley and up toward to the west of Chalice and also west of Salmon. That's tomorrow and Wednesday. By the weekend, late Friday and the weekend, another one of these slow-moving closed lows will arrive, dropping temperatures back, and another 2 or 3 days of rounds of rain and mountain snow coming our direction. Looking at satellite, we currently have one of those lows offshore. This low itself is not going to be the system that's going to impact us later this week. This actually is going to send off little small waves, as we like to call them, off of that low. That'll be impacting us again with that a little bit of shower activity tomorrow and Wednesday, but mainly those gusty winds over portions of central and eastern Idaho through the middle part of the week before that weakens and actually moves away. Another low will move in, and that's the one that takes over for the weekend. Looking at our weather risk outlook, not much going on, just some minor impacts with the gusty winds the next few days. The showers really not being of an impact. Late Friday, that's when we have the showers moving in, the rain and the higher mountain snow in their area. Very minor impacts potentially, especially in the higher elevations, or if we get some heavier showers for some ponding of water later in the day on Friday. So how is this pattern looking? Just to take a look, this is looking at around 20 to 25,000 feet up in the air at the weather pattern. A ridge off to our east. You'll notice we have one of these little waves spinning off that low coming onshore later today into tonight into tomorrow. That swings through. You can see another one going into Wednesday, a little stronger one swinging inland and up across into southern Canada during the day on Wednesday. We get towards the end of the week, you'll notice the pattern deepens a little bit. We see things shifting southward, and by the time we get to Friday into Saturday, that's when we're going to see this closed low set up. This is kind of the overall pattern. Where this low exactly sets up, we're not 100% sure yet. It looks like similar to the last one, maybe dropping through eastern Oregon and Washington, maybe far western Idaho, back into portions of northern Nevada. And then as we go into Sunday, that low begins to shift overhead. And it may be out of here by late Sunday, but there is a pretty good shot that that low at least sticks around another 24 hours into at least Monday across the area. The longer it's here, the cooler it remains, and the better chance of precipitation here across central and eastern Idaho. So going back to the forecast for those winds, today, not much wind except down around the South Hills. Some of those gusts over 30 miles per hour, 30 to 40 mile an hour gusts. The higher ridgetop winds, 40 to 45 miles an hour later on this afternoon. And that continues into this evening over the central mountains. They let up a little bit after midnight, but still some gusty winds south of Twin down across the South Hills, around 20 to 25 miles per hour, maybe 25 to 30 in a few spots. And then still 25 to 35, maybe some ridgetop gusts, the high ridgetop gusts, say up around Mount Bora elevations, that type of thing, just peaking over 40 miles per hour. Temperature-wise today, some of us will be back well into the 70s to near 80 degrees in the lower elevations, 50s and 60s up in the central mountains for temperatures later on today. Winds for tomorrow, the sustained winds will be here on the left. I meant to say that a bit ago. So some sustained winds around 20 to 30 miles an hour up in the central mountains and up along the Montana border. And that's where we'll see those gusts 30 to 40, maybe 45 miles per hour at times. Again, tomorrow into tomorrow night across the area. They do pick up in the afternoon and evening hours. A little more widespread up along around Island Park, Monida Pass, some of those gusts 35 to 40. And they get a little more widespread, even the lower elevations up in the central mountains. Otherwise, you get farther to the south, not much in the way of wind expected for the area tomorrow. And into tomorrow night, after midnight, they start to let up a little bit, but still some gusts up in the central mountains along the Montana border over 30 miles per hour. Temperatures tomorrow, we drop it back just a little bit, a couple of degrees across the board for tomorrow. Still some mid to even upper 70s for afternoon highs. Going on to Wednesday, you'll notice the stronger winds start to shift south a little bit. That's because that wave coming, passing through on Wednesday is a little bit farther to the south, a little bit stronger. But you'll see up around the lava beds, up through the Arco Desert craters, up towards Island Park. Later in the day on Wednesdays, those sustained winds 20 to 30 miles per hour. Those gusts 30 to 40, 45 miles an hour across some of the highest elevations going into the day on Wednesday. And those winds do kind of shift out of the Central Mountains later Wednesday into Wednesday night, but continue across portions of the Magic Valley, the Snake Plain, on up into the Eastern Highlands. Again, that's Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And those highs on Wednesday, we drop them back. That system coming farther south, it's knocking those temperatures back. So mostly 60s and 70s in lower elevations, some 50s up in the high country of the Central Mountains on Wednesday. Thursday remains dry, but you'll notice dropping it back about 2, 4, or 5 degrees more on Thursday. And by the time we get into Friday, some areas will not get out of the 50s, even in the lower elevations, and the likelihood of not getting out of the 50s in the valleys for Saturday and Sunday, and only being in the 30s and 40s for afternoon highs Saturday and Sunday, even on Monday, that's 50% chance or higher. So when that low gets overhead, we've got all the moisture, the cloud cover, and it's a cold system, so that's going to help keep that colder air in place for a couple of days at least over our area. So again, until we get to that point, mostly dry conditions, some decently warm temperatures across the area, but it will be breezy at times. The only chance of any limited rainfall, any showers, and we're talking limited rainfall, will come up across around Stanley, up towards west of Chalice, up west of 93, up through Limhi County later tomorrow and into Wednesday. Have a great day, and do stay safe out there, everyone.